We're ready to take a deep dive into the latest tech buzz. Today, we're checking out what's got techies talking and why you should care, even if you don't live and breathe code.
It's like peeking behind the curtain of the tech world, right?
Exactly. And let me tell you, some of this stuff is straight out of a sci-fi movie.
Okay, like what? Give me an example.
How about this headline? Homemade AI drone software finds people when search and rescue teams can't. Even just reading it sends chills down my spine. Homemade.
You're right, that is pretty wild. So we're talking about someone, and I'm guessing they're not some tech industry giant, who made AI that can actually find missing people.
That's what it sounds like. Apparently, this software can analyze drone footage, the kind anyone can fly these days, and pinpoint individuals, potentially outperforming traditional search methods.
Okay, now that's impressive. And a little bit intimidating, to be honest.
Intimidating in a good way, right?
Right.
Think of the possibilities. This isn't some far-off concept. This is happening now. Makes you wonder what's next.
It really does. And speaking of things happening now, did you hear about this year's Nobel Prize in Physics?
Yeah, wasn't it something to do with AI again? Seems like we can't get away from it, which is exciting.
Exciting is one word for it. It went to the pioneers of machine learning and neural networks, the very foundation of AI as we know it.
It's like awarding the Nobel for inventing the internet back in the day.
Yeah.
When people first started realizing just how big of a deal it was going to be. This feels similar.
Absolutely. This isn't just some algorithm that recommends your next binge watch. This is the tech that could power everything from personalized medicine
to self-driving cars that actually work.
You got it. And It's only going to get more advanced from here.
Okay, so we've got AI potentially saving lives and winning Nobel Prizes. Am I the only one sensing a theme here?
I don't think so. It's like we're on the verge of this massive tech-driven shift.
Exactly. And speaking of shifts, how about this? For a curveball, there's an article making the rounds, and it's from, get this, 1991.
1991? Now that's a throwback.
Yeah, it's called The Rise of Worse is Better. Definitely caught my eye. What do you make of that title?
Worse is better. Honestly, it's a bit cryptic, even for the tech world.
Right. Sounds almost paradoxical. But, we got to dig into this. What is this worse is better, and why is everyone talking about it now?
So it's this idea in software development sometimes, prioritizing simplicity and ease of use, even if you have to sacrifice some technical prowess, can lead to a better product overall.
So it's not really about making things worse, but maybe just simplifying things a bit, making them more user-friendly.
Exactly. Sometimes the most successful tech isn't the most technically impressive. It's the stuff that people actually enjoy using.
It makes you think about some of the most popular apps and gadgets out there. They might not be the most advanced under the hood, but they just work. And they're easy to use.
That's the key, right? User experience.
So are we saying that in our quest for bigger, better, faster tech, we've overlooked the importance of a seamless user experience?
Well, it's something to think about, isn't it? In a world that's increasingly reliant on technology, maybe a little simplicity goes a long way.
That's a really interesting thought, and something I'm sure a lot of our listeners can relate to.
Yes,
I know
right.
I can. It's funny you should say that. It's like we're always chasing the newest iPhone, the fastest processor. Then we get frustrated when we can't even figure out how to change the settings.
It's a classic case of it's not you, it's me, except it's not the tech, it's the design.
Exactly. And that actually reminds me of another story we saw, one that really throws things back. Did you see the one about the Thunderbirds film reels?
Oh yeah, that was a fun one. Talk about a blast from the past. Someone found those tucked away in their garden shed. Like actual film reels.
I imagine stumbling upon those. It'd be like finding a treasure chest full of, well, not gold, but something just as cool.
I mean, for film buffs and anyone who grew up with Thunderbirds, it's basically priceless.
For those who didn't spend their childhood glued to a TV screen showing puppets flying spaceships, can you give us a little background on Thunderbirds?
Sure. So Thunderbirds was this British sci-fi show, super popular back in the day, and they used these incredibly detailed puppets and miniatures for all the effects. It was like Star Wars, but with puppets, and it had this really unique charm to it.
I kind of want to hunt down some episodes now just to see what all the fuss is about.
You should. It's one of those shows that reminds you that innovation isn't always about having the latest and greatest tech. Sometimes it's about creativity, storytelling, and just plain old imagination.
And finding those film reels, it's like a little time capsule of that creativity.
Speaking of time capsules, someone out there is living in the future, at least when it comes to iPhones.
Wait, what? What'd I miss?
This one's a little techie, but someone managed to virtualize iOS. That's the iPhone operating system on Apple Silicon.
Hold on, you're saying someone's running iPhone apps on their Mac? Like, natively?
That's what it sounds like. It's a pretty niche thing for now, but still pretty mind-blowing when you think about it.
Talk about blurring the lines. If you can run a phone on your computer, what's next? Are we all going to be carrying around one tiny device that does everything?
Who knows? But while we're pondering the future of pocket-sized tech, there was another story that brought things back down to earth. A rather sobering one, actually.
Oh yeah, the one about the robots being developed to work at Fukushima.
That's the one. It's a stark reminder that as amazing as technological advancement can be, it often stems from the need to solve some really difficult, often human-made problems.
It's like the saying goes, necessity is the mother of invention. And in this case, the necessity is, well, pretty heavy.
Absolutely. But it's also a testament to human resilience, right? That even when faced with immense challenges like the Fukushima disaster, we can use technology to try and make things right.
It's a good reminder that tech, at its core, is a tool. It's up to us to decide how we use it for good, for bad, or for something in between. It's wild, right? We started with AI finding missing people, hopped over to Nobel Prize-winning algorithms, swung by a garden shed full of vintage sci-fi, and ended up staring down the very real challenges of a nuclear disaster.
And who would have thought an article from 1991 would have us questioning the very nature of better when it comes to tech?
Right. Worse is better. Never thought I'd be saying that, but it's actually kind of brilliant. Makes you think.
It really does. And the thing is, we've just scratched the surface here. This wasn't even every headline, just the ones that really caught our eye.
Exactly. There's a whole universe of tech news out there changing every minute. What we think is groundbreaking today might be old news tomorrow.
That's what keeps it exciting. It's like trying to predict the ending of a movie, but the movie's still being filmed live and everyone's a critic.
So on that note, as we wrap up this deep dive, any final thoughts for our listeners? What's got you excited about the future of tech, and where do you think it's all headed?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? I'd say keep exploring, keep asking questions, even if they sound crazy, because you never know what might spark the next big breakthrough. The future of tech, it's unwritten, and it's in all of our hands to shape it.
Couldn't have said it better myself. So keep dreaming, keep innovating, and we'll catch you next time for another deep dive into the ever-evolving world of tech.